My name is Colin McManus. I'm 22 years old, born in a military family, um, born in D.C., Washington, D.C., nation's capital. Moved to Ohio around probably when I was in middle school. So I went through middle school and high school in Ohio, and then out of high school I went to a small school in Tampa, and then I made my way out here to Arizona State.
My name is Brad Forster. I'm 20 years old from Napa Valley, California. I went to a private elementary school for 9 years and then went to a public high school for 4 years, and now I'm at Arizona State University.
My name's Adam Honorato, 21, from Wheaton, Illinois.
And I'm Tyler Burke. I'm 21 from Frankfort, Illinois.
My name is Garth McLennan. I'm 19 years old. I was born and raised in New Westminster, British Columbia, Canada. I went to New Westminster Secondary School.
I learned everything from my parents.
Okay.
Everything to this day I've learned from my mom, my dad. In school, like I said, I'm coming from a military family, but in school, I was expected a certain set of grades, a certain level that I had to stay at. And if I didn't get it, I was punished. And a lot of the times, sometimes I made mistakes and didn't get there, but unless I made my way back up, I wouldn't do things I loved, like play lacrosse or hang out with my friends. So my parents played an absolutely huge role in school because they always stressed me how important your education is. Because without education, you're limited.
So my parents have been together for 25 years, still are together, and they both did not go to college. So they both pushed me that education was more important than anything, as well as they made me always participate in sports, be very social, but education was key. Huge proponent for getting a degree. I need to get out by 4 years, and start working just traditional. School is over everything.
My parents divorced when I was in kindergarten. Moved back and forth my whole life. High school, I started strictly living with my dad. I think, out of all my friends, the most lax out of all of it. Me and my dad kind of just did our own thing. It was kind of just an expected type of deal. I wasn't really brought up or anything. It was just kind of get it done.
My parents, they're still together. They've been together my whole life. But there's a couple times where they were in the talks about divorce and things, so it wasn't always you leave it to Beaver type household, And both my parents, neither of them went to college or anything. My dad's a garbage man. My mom works for a normal company. And so when it came time for me, so they've always stressed education big time because my dad was from a very poor neighborhood of Chicago, so he's not very educated as far as past high school. It was high school and that was it. And he always was kind of pushing education on me and my mom. So when it came time for college, I didn't necessarily want to go, but for them, I needed to go because I needed to be the first one in my family to go and get a degree because they didn't, so they kind of regretted it, and I had the opportunity to. So they really pushed my education to further it because they didn't have the opportunity to.
Well, to start, they've been together my whole life. Both were previously married before I was born, but I've never known them apart. My dad went to college. He went to Douglas College and the University of British Columbia, but he didn't finish before he became a real estate agent. My mom started working for Sears right out of high school. She never went to college, and then Canadian Airlines before she started a family and just kind of lived at home. They were always pro-education. They always wanted me and my siblings to go to college, but much more so since we've all kind of done it. We're all in university now, and they really push it now more than they did when I was in high school, for example.
I say that education is getting your degree, using it, moving up the ladder to the next grade, keep getting that degree. And schooling is so much more. I think schooling is being educated, but it's also sports, friends, teachers, events, all this stuff. Schooling and education are two different things to me.
When I think of schooling, I think of, just following, elementary school to high school, getting a diploma, then getting a degree, then finding a job. I think of education, I think of, learning experiences, doing something that you learn from, and then gaining that knowledge, something that you don't necessarily learn in a school environment.
In my opinion, I think there's a huge difference. My personal opinion about the whole idea, I think that I don't think your learning as a human being strictly comes from sitting in a chair all day at school. I think the experiences that we take every day, every day of our lives, that adds up. I think the study abroad is I think everyone should do that. Honestly, I've been lucky enough to travel quite a bit, and honestly, it's an eye opener. You see, I'm from Illinois. Come out to Arizona, I feel like when I first came out, it was a different world. That's just, it's definitely something that you live by.
Yeah, I feel along the same way. As far as it's very different because, I learn a lot. You learn a lot in the classroom and going to school and education wise. But the things that I took away from high school were things I learned in after school sports or clubs or teachers talking with teachers one-on-one versus class that had nothing to do with class, but you just get to know teachers and then you learn more things. And like I said with my dad, since I never really could talk about school with him, he never could help me on my homework or anything. The things I learned from my dad are the things that I use now. How to fix things on my car and how to, just life lessons that my dad was able to teach me through not education, not schooling, but he just had to teach it through his own way. And I would have never have gotten that through just going to high school every day. I needed a different view of someone who wasn't on the school side, and I learned so much more from both those.
I think they're completely different things. I think schooling is something that is mandated by the government that, you have to complete this number of grades in this amount of time and this number of tests, but you can skate by that if you really want to. I mean, hell, you don't even have to do it if you don't want to. Education, I think, but at least the way I personally define education is something completely different. Education is when you it's not just learning new facts and dates, it's learning themes and learning how to think critically and growing and developing as a person. When I think of how I came to Arizona State, it's my education goes beyond a lot more than what I just learned in the classroom.
Culture is, I believe, how we live our lives. I mean, everybody has a different definition of culture, and I think how you were raised, what you did at the dinner table, what you did before school, what your parents taught you, what your grandparents taught you, I believe that's culture. How you lived as a family, as one, I think is different for each of us, but that's culture to me.
My opinion, culture is a set of norms, beliefs, religion, social class, race, ethnicity, basically everything that defines a person, or just a population.
I think it's just a lot of things combining into one and making something unique.
Yeah, I would say culture is along the same lines as that it's a mixture of different things that you encounter every day on a daily basis and new things in your life and experiences that change you, and that's always kind of changing and evolving because it's always absorbing more and more things, in my opinion.
I think culture is a combination of people that you grow up with and where you grow up. I mean, I suppose it's more the people than the area, because at the end of the day, an area is just an area. It's a person who makes it what it is. Culture it kind of encompasses a really wide range of things. I mean, it's the language you speak, the way you interact with people, the food you eat, the way you dress, the things that your culture prizes that others don't, or that others do that you don't. It's kind of everything. I mean, they can bleed over into some, and there's bleed over between cultures, but I think for the most part they're fairly distinct.